Hey everybody, it's Dr. Richardson, and I just wanted to give you your 5-minute lunch break today. And today, kind of wrapping up this week with your studies. Believe it or not, you only have a few more weeks and we are done. April 27th is going to be here before you know it. So, 3 weeks from today, and you're done with this term. So, anyway, I wanted to reach out to you real quick and do a friendly reminder up front of what is due by Sunday, your response to one classmate on the discussion board, which is about your chapter 5 reading, and then your chapter 6 quiz, which is about obviously chapter 6. Chapter 5 and chapter 6 this week looks at the realism versus the liberal, or if you want to call conservative versus the liberalism when it comes to activities that happen in today's life. So definitely worth reading about and looking at, and getting your assignments done and turned in on time. Good job on the discussion boards, by the way. I do go through them. I don't participate in them. I do monitor them to make sure that everybody is getting done what they need to get done. So, one thing to look out in the discussion board is if you cite it, if you quote it, you cite it. Okay? So, make sure that you cite your work in the APA format. And if you need help with APA, you can always go to citationmachine.net. That's citationmachine.net, and it can help you out in that department. One of the things I wanted to reach out to you about is I noticed in our textbook we're talking about ethnic conflicts. I believe it's in chapter 5. And the reason that I really think about this is because I'm about ready to head back to Kenya in a few weeks and to go and continue on with some mission work over there. But ethnic conflicts are usually because there are various tribes that are involved in a situation. It's usually about land, and I don't know if you guys remember from history class or not, but the to have land is to be considered wealthy. Land is very, very important. That's why there's always a conflict over territory. And if you haven't thought about it before, it would kind of make sense after reading and studying and seeing, firsthand, through the media as to what actually happens when there's a conflict. And it's usually over the land, the amount of land that one might have. So with that, there's always a struggle of power, and there's always that influence of relationships of who is bigger than who comes from what is their hierarchy in their family. But I'll give you an example. Just in Kenya, just in one area that I work in, there's 46 tribes, and how they keep peace over there is beyond me. 46 tribes, 46 different ways of looking at things, and somehow they make it work. That's not to say that one morning it might not work, but it has worked for ever since they've sought their independence from Great Britain not too long ago. So it's been a couple of decades, but very short time period in all perspectives. And then once we get to that concept, then we have to look at the separation of the tribes, what makes them an individual identity or entity, and then what is that commonality between them that brings them together. Because I use Kenya as an example again, they all want to work towards a unity. They all want their government to be better. Like they all have the same values, they have the same goals in mind. Your final project, which will be in the last week of class, which I will give to you in the next week and a half or so, easy to do, don't freak out. But it's very informational, and it's about the genocide in Rwanda. I've done a lot of research, and I love learning about Rwanda. What's really interesting is when you actually go through that process of Rwanda in week 7 of this course, you will there's actually I saw a video not too long ago, and it is about the downtown area that was ravaged by the genocide and what it looks like today. It's hustling and bustling and full of capitalism and economy booming and entrepreneurship, and it's interesting. So anyhow, you know what you need to do. I'm going to wrap up and say, you know what you need to do for this weekend. If you need me, please email me. And then get your grades done as soon as I can the first of next week. So other than that, I'm going to sign off and say have a great lunch, and I'll see you next week for our next one, okay? I'll see you soon. Bye bye.